Hey everybody, Tom here with a little tutorial for you to follow on this second of two drawings that you're working on perspective with. Here, this is overlapping shapes, which is an important aspect of dealing with the depth of space or perspective. So we have the sky, we have we have the distant mountains here. And then we have the trees, we have the foreground landscape. So I have some major elements that we need to take care of here in order to get proportions. I'm going to work on from here to here and get that depth established here. So here we go. I'm measuring proportions as you have seen me do in other demos in the past. So approximately right there is that distance from here to here. From here to here, is the next distance I want to measure. So that's going to be approximately that distance right there. And then from here on down to here is the rest of the picture plane. What I'm going to do is quickly draw in just a couple of lines indicating the angle, the very shallow angle of that railroad track. And it lives approximately right in there. Okay? So there we go. All right. So as I have established these proportions, I need to capture a few angles. So I'm going to actually start to draw rather freehand. Just kind of get a sense of where that lies. I think this mountain peak comes up about this far. Whoa, that's a little crookedish. Draw as I say, not as I draw. Okay. I think those are some of those beginning proportions in that background of the landscape right here. What I want to do is find out where this tree lies. So I need to measure the distance from here over to here. Check out that distance. Just using the handle of a paintbrush I happen to have sitting on my table here. So I think that mountain peak comes up roughly that high right there. And then this treetop sits about halfway between here, between the two. Actually, I've got it at a little bit less. I'm just going to draw that in right there. And there's that tree. Sitting approximately right in there. Okay. So now what we can do is start to establish some of these other elements. Actually, this tree comes all the way out to here. I'm not erasing any of my lines, but as you will have an opportunity to learn a little bit about positive, negative space, taking a look right here and comparing it with right here. Trying to get something that feels sort of close to it. Okay? Alright, I've got my railroad track established here. I've got these clumps of sagebrush coming down. Believe it or not, for me, this is a key element right here. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to draw that in at the angle that I'm seeing. Okay. So it's approximately like so. So I've got a clump of sagebrush sitting in here. sitting here. And I want you to, as you're doing this drawing, I want you to think about how things are overlapping each other. You've got the mountain in front of the sky, got these hills in front of the distant mountain line, you've got the trees in front of all of that, and then you've got this sagebrush. It's a series of overlapping shapes and elements. And I'm using them, kind of playing them off of each other, trying to figure out what lies where in that depth of space. I think that second mountain peak sits right in there. It's doing pretty good for a digital drawing. But this elevated area that the train track sits on, this mound, this built-up mound, I think it sits right in here. So I'm going to come in here, and with just a good best estimate, I'm going to start to put that in right there. I've noticed that there's some things coming upward this way, so I'm going to draw upward like so to get a sense of that established. Okay, got some more sagebrush growing here in front of the train track. Okay, got these angular elements going on. Okay, so the drawing is starting to take shape, but there's more that can be done. So we can come in here, and I'm taking a look at this right here. I'm saying that I see this. Starts to rise up just a little bit. Something like that. Okay. Got this tree here. This tree sits below this peak, directly below it, so I'm thinking, and it's higher in elevation than this tree, so I'm thinking I need to come up about this high in order to draw the top of that tree right there. And that's where that tree lies. Now, because this sits in front of this, and this sits in front of all that, we're starting to get a good sense of things overlapping each other in this depth of space. Okay? So it lives roughly right in there. This has about that arc and curvature right in there. Whereas this is sitting approximately like so. And that's roughly this, with this little tree sitting up here like so. And then a couple of little trees sitting back here. This mountain ridge line, okay, could do more here, but that's how I start to block in those proportional relationships. Now you can start to play with a thin line. You can make it a thicker line. You can make it a darker line in order to establish importance of some of these elements here. For example, I might come in here and darken parts of that that railroad track as I see it. Okay, I might come in here and do that. I might give some emphasis to the boundaries, the outline of that tree there. Okay, and then I would probably give a little emphasis to the sagebrush growing in front of the train track. And we start to get a sense of how things are lying in relationship to each other in that depth of space. Okay, so this is what you're being asked to do, and to practice doing this. And you know what? If you don't get it perfect, don't worry. You can always take a shot at another piece. So, all right. That is it for me. Thanks for listening. Let me know if you have questions or concerns.